Nicol's going to be happy because we start the show with some Liverpool talk. Dominik Szoboszlai is set to join Liverpool after the club have triggered his €70 million release clause right before the deadline when his clause would have expired. The Hungarian international set to sign a long-term contract with the club and will join Alexis McAllister as another summer signing for Jurgen Klopp. Let's welcome in Aage Fjortoft and also Frank Leboeuf to talk more about this. Jan, I'll start with you. What do you like about Dominik Szoboszlai?
Well, I like that he is a young player. I like that he can play in a lot of different positions. I also like the mixture of him working with Jurgen Klopp. I think that is for a 22-year-old man or player come to Klopp. That has always been a good mix of developing players. Having said that, I understand that the Liverpool fans will be happy that they will get in today's market. They will get McAllister, Szoboszlai for under €100 million. They will think that is a good deal. But I will also warn them that he played together with Erling Haaland at Salzburg. They've gone the same way. He gone down over Leipzig and now going to England. And I expected him to make bigger steps. But I think the Liverpool fans will be happy today that they got a player. But this is not a player that will score you 3 goals the first game of the season. He is still a player that need to be developed. But the good news for Liverpool, they got Jurgen Klopp, and he has developed some players before.
What do you think, Stevie? Happy?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the key. That everybody, when they talk about this guy, talks about how he has more in his locker. Well, from what I've seen, the guy ain't bad right now. I don't see any reason why he doesn't go into the Liverpool side straight away. And if we're talking about the majority of so-called experts, we all agree that he's going to get better. So this is a great signing.
So you see him in the side straight away?
I don't see why not. I don't see who's going to be ahead of him or why they should be ahead of him. Henderson's getting on a little bit. You got Harvey Elliott, who's getting better, who's getting more experienced. He certainly doesn't have the experience or the kind of football knowledge right now that Szoboszlai has. So, yeah, absolutely. McAllister, Fabinho, a Fabinho who's rested, who we expect to be back to the old Fabinho, along with these two. And again, I think Klopp's always been looking to get, his best midfield was Wijnaldum, Fabinho and Henderson. And they were all about just winning the ball back, let's be honest. You weren't expecting any goals from any of them. And I think ever since that three were disbanded, so to speak, he's been trying to get some players who can do the work that they did, but have a little bit more. He thought he had it with Keita, didn't happen. He probably thought he had it with Thiago. Obviously, he thought he would get more going forward than defensively. But I think with McAllister and now Szoboszlai, I think he gets that. So, yeah, absolutely, it's exciting for Liverpool.
So let me go back to you then, Jan, because it sounds as though you think he won't start straight away, or he shouldn't.
No, I'm just putting in that, as a football fan, you will always love, and we will talk about different players today, and you have to ask yourself, as a fan, this is a stage of the season, this is a transfer window where we love to get new players into the club. I don't think a lot of Liverpool players know all about this player. But this is Stevie puts it right, that he is a man with a lot of potential. He can go places, let's put it that way. And he's one of the talents in Europe at the moment. I'm not sure that I'm so optimistic like Stevie that he will go straight into the team. But I still think that he has the potential to be a great Liverpool player. But he needs to adjust to that. And that's what I said. You go from Austrian football into Leipzig, you go from Leipzig to Liverpool. This is the biggest step he will take in his career. But remember, there is a sporting director called Schmatke, who is a German, who knows this player very well. He's doing this for 3 months' time. Maybe that will be permanent. But Jurgen Klopp knows him. We've seen a lot of this player. And who are we to say that Klopp is making the wrong decision here? But I'm just saying that just make sure that you're not over-optimistic, that this is the guy who will put you up 3-4 places on the table from day one. This is a player I will compare him a bit with Gakpo. Maybe Gakpo was a bit further because of for the national team. He is a part of Holland compared with Hungary. But it's a pattern, the kind of players that Liverpool take on now. And Szoboszlai is one of them, and it just fits into the pattern of Liverpool recruitment at the moment.
What do you think of the move, Frank?
Okay. Yes, I think it's a very good move. And I saw the team sheet that you just put. Yeah, I can agree with that in a perfect world. That the guy comes, playing on the right side. But I don't know if you noticed at the end of the season, but Trent Alexander-Arnold was playing in another position. And you will have to deal with that, because that's the new deal. That's not the 2 years ago Liverpool team. That's a team who came back from nowhere, who is changing one guy who we all know is absolutely fantastic with the ball and can have, and I'll try to be nice, some weaknesses defensively. So I don't think Alexander-Arnold is going to play in that position. I think you will have to change the position of many players in order to put Alexander-Arnold in the middle of the park, because he's the guy who deals the game right now. So that's not going to be that team. That's not going to be that shape. That's going to be different. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Mr. Klopp is going to deal with the new signings, but also definitely with the new positioning of Alexander-Arnold.
Frank, I have got to totally disagree with you, by the way. I don't think the shape of the team's going to change. The fact that Alexander-Arnold will go into midfield when Liverpool are passing the ball out from the back, I think we all know that's going to happen. But as soon as they lose the ball, or Alexander-Arnold sniffs that the ball's going to be lost, then they're going to go into a 4-3-3 shape defensively. And Alexander-Arnold is going to have to get back in that right-hand spot. And the other question I have as well is, does Klopp go along with what happened in the last 10 games of the season with Alexander-Arnold? Because, quite frankly, there were pretty much 8 or 9 dead games, dead rubbers. There was nothing on them. And so he could waltz into the middle of the park, start spraying balls around, and Liverpool's winning games, and all of a sudden, oh my goodness, this guy has to be in the middle, this guy has to do this. I'm not so sure that it's going to be so easy for Klopp just to tell him to go in the middle of the park. He won't start in the middle of the park for sure, and absolutely, in my opinion, he will go back to right back and try and get in the middle and get on the ball when he can.
Having said that, Stevie, I think that the coaches also are influenced from each other. They will see Stones' role at Manchester City. So I think that in Klopp's mind that he will like to have Arnold in there. I take your point that he will go back then in his position defensively. But and we saw that Guardiola, one of the key to Stones being good is that he put 3 centre-halves at the back. With that Liverpool team that we saw that won't happen, because you will have a Robertson there, and where will you put Arnold then defensively and all that kind of stuff. But I think that the plan is to start with Arnold in that position, because I think also a Klopp will be romantic, and he's always also be influenced by Guardiola doing that with John Stones.
So start in what position then, just to clarify, Jan? In the midfield?
Yeah, I would think that he will. Now, I would think when we will get the starting lineup before a game, he will put him in a right back.
Right.
But when we start the game, he will go in there, and then I'm understanding what Frank is saying.
When they have the ball,
then the other play, but then the players have to adjust. And is Szoboszlai, is he then ready to take and cover that space if they're losing ball? Because in an ideal world, Steve, it's not that when we have the ball, when we don't have the ball. What's interesting in football is like the 1 or 2 seconds between those kind of positions.
And that's the key, though. Although I'm saying he's going to move into the middle of the park, it's when the ball's lost, then pretty much every team does the same thing. When you lose the ball, we need to get into A shape. And Liverpool's shape is 4-3-3. And so wherever he is on the field when they have the ball, as soon as the ball's lost, he has to get his backside back in there.
Right.
The way he did before when he was playing as a more orthodox right back, because he would disappear away up the line, and then everybody else, their job was to cover the hole that he's left until he gets back in there. I don't see that changing. It'll be the same plan.
Yeah, but Stevie, my concern is because he plays in the middle of the park when they have the ball, and he goes everywhere. We sometimes saw him last season, even on the left side. So if you're saying that as soon as they lose the ball, he has to go back into this position. If he's 50 yards away from this position, and you know that you have a counter-attack against Liverpool, he will have no time to go back into position. It's nice if you have a remote control, you can stop the game and he can go back, but otherwise, the counter-attack is going to go fast, and it's going to be a problem. Somebody will have to cover him and anticipate the loss of the ball.